Let's get some insight now from Felix Ndahinda, a researcher and analyst. He joins us live from Tilburg in the Netherlands. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. Hundreds of thousands of people, they've been displaced, and there was already a humanitarian crisis in place. Now it's bound to get even worse. How bad is the situation in Goma?
It is bad, of course, when there is still insecurity all over around. There are quite still some resistant Wazalendo here and there. Not all military soldiers who are fighting for the government have been cleared from the city. In a way, there is quite still a mess of insecurity in the area, and the civilian population is still quite suffering. And of course, in the other areas towards Bukavu, there is still fighting going on now, despite the international community and especially regional powers and the regional communities, the East African community and SADC meeting and declaring or at least urging a ceasefire. So the security can only be worse unless something is done a little bit to ease the humanitarian crisis unfolding.
There was a ceasefire in place, but this has been, as we all know, a long and deadly conflict. How fragile is this process, and what are the risks that come with it?
It is fragile, especially since there are many areas of tension. There are tensions that have for long been running now between the M23 and government, the government deciding to declare it a terrorist organization, with it cannot do any deal, including enter into negotiation. There has been the tension between the DRC and Rwanda that was subject matter of the Rwanda process. Rwanda being accused of supporting M23 and the Congolese government, of course, refusing to talk to M23 as well. And Rwanda especially emphasizing the security threats that Eastern Congo, the Goma bordering area, is, especially since the government has been cooperating with the Rwandan rebels of FDLR. And all that with, of course, the SADC mission, which was more of a fighting force, which was sent to replace the East African community, which lost its soldiers during the takeover of Goma by the M23 AFC. All of those areas of tension, government, M23, government of Congo, Rwanda, but also SADC, and especially M23/Rwanda, all of that is raising quite a lot of tensions. And unless really there is a process of de-escalation, as was initiated in the recent in the recent summit in Dar es Salaam, followed by real tangible action of really de-escalating all of those areas of tension, it's very difficult to see the end of the tunnel in the near future. But that action needs to be done. I guess the international community a little bit needs to be mobilized, especially in a destabilizing role.
I'm glad you mentioned the international community.
Role.
Yeah, I mean, what role do they need to play in order to stop the exploitation of the Congolese people?
Active diplomacy, really, and going into the depth of the issues. As I said, there are quite a lot of, I keep repeating, emphasizing the fact that you have very multi-layered issues in the Congo. There are issues that are local within Congo, which are of the national nature. There are issues which are regional transboundary between Congo and Rwanda. There are issues which are regional. There are issues which are economic, which link to minerals. All of those issues have to be analyzed very clearly, with less ideology and more rationality, look at the actors involved, look at the issues that are subject matter of agreements over the last 30 years, deal with those issues that have been already identified in previous episodes. And once those issues are dealt with, probably then only can we start easing the suffering of the Congolese people over the years.
Okay, Felix Ndahinda, thank you so much for being with me here on the NewsHour. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.